Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Apocalypse Soon. And now, I can't believe it, folks. We're at the Comedy Store. We're smoking marijuana in the back. Here's your host, Eddie Pepitone.
Good evening. This is Ed Pepitone in the heart, in the belly, in the belly of the beast. We are in the Comedy Store, and this is actually, we have a special guest, by the way, just an impromptu version of Apocalypse Soon with our guest, Frank Castillo, one of the funniest comics I have seen in a long time. And Frank, it's so great to have you on.
Absolute pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And we were talking right before we came on that you are married.
Yes, I am.
And your wife is a psychologist.
Yes, she is.
And you get free
Yep.
therapy. Except I would say she's biased toward her in the marriage.
Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't that be funny if she was a real psychologist who was protective of you?
Yeah.
But the other part of her is the wife.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's the other thing, too, is she is, like, because I'll ask her, like, you know, if there's stuff about me that she hasn't told me, and she's like, do you want me to answer as your wife or as a psychologist?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And sometimes I'll ask for the psychologist, and that is when I cry a little bit.
Dude, that's a conflict of interest.
It is.
A little bit, you know?
Holy shit.
Because her thing, she'll be like, don't you find it interesting? So, like, the thing, like, my dad's an alcoholic. My whole family, like, drinks. And she was like, she goes, don't you find it funny that you grew up surrounded by alcoholics and entertaining them, and now your job that you do every night is performing in front of alcoholics and entertaining them? I was like, holy shit.
You were conditioned from birth.
I didn't even make that connection.
Dude, tell me about it. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing what we do, though. We get to do that, though, which is unbelievable. Yeah. All three of us do stand-up.
Yeah, I remember when you first started coming around the store specifically, I was a door guy.
You were?
I was a door guy, and then I opened up the stanchion for you because you were coming in, and then I was like, holy shit, I was like, Eddie Pepitone, and then you were like, hey, and it was so cool to see you just be like cool and joyous, because before that I had saw you on Your Pretty Face Going to Hell.
Oh, right.
So I was a huge fan that you were coming around. And you were one of my favorite people to see on stage at the time that new people were starting to come in.
Yeah.
Because it definitely shook things up.
It shook things up,
and I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're a different flavor.
Well, it's also like, you know, you see, I mean, I don't want to say things.
No, you can say whatever.
But, you know, certain people, especially at that time, were resting on their laurels, I felt, as headliners. And then when you see new people come in and shake things up, it is fun to see people go, oh shit.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh now it's on, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's a good competition.
Absolutely.
And that's what feels good about working here, is that it feels like a place where we kind of push each other to be good and better, because you don't want to look bad.
Yeah.
In this place, you know,
So it's great. In front of Leslie Jones.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I had a fun set tonight too, and isn't it funny? And I don't know how you feel about this. By the way, this is Apocalypse Soon. We're in, what do you call this?
So this is the back bar, formerly the video room. This used
right?
to be where I would do call-outs to people. Yeah, so it's like we get the lineups Tuesdays, and I'd call everybody and be like, your spots are this.
Oh, okay, you did that?
Yeah. And then, you know, take avails, but then they turned it into the back bar, and this is where a lot of, like, parties and everything happens. And, yeah, this is...
Oh, do they do a bunch of parties here?
I mean, depending on...
Listen to me. How come I never have been invited? I become just that little child. Hey, I hear you do parties back here. How come I haven't been told?
Well, it's also so funny too, because it's like you wouldn't think that you'd be the party type, but now that I think about it, it's like you absolutely would be the party type. You know what I mean? You would be the light. Like
I don't have a lot. You know, it's it's funny. You know how you know yourself. And you know how much energy you have, and you just know how much you can party.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was going to say, I'm a lightweight at this point, because as you get older, you got to really watch it. You know.
Yeah. I feel like you'd crush at a family barbecue. I feel like you would absolutely demolish.
Yeah. I fucking have fun. Well, you know, that's what we do. You know, we get comfortable and just have fun making people laugh, you know. And tonight, and this is what I wanted to talk about a little bit about stand-up, is I was like real nervous tonight because I hadn't performed in about 2 weeks doing stand-up. 2 weeks is a long time for me.
For comics, it is a very long time. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Anything longer than like 2 or 3 days, I feel like,
I used to be like that.
Can I still do that?
I used to be like that, but now I can go. But 2 weeks is a lot, and I went up, and I was like in my head before the set, going, "Oh fuck," you know. But I had so much fun. I was so relaxed, and they were so good.
And how quick from being nervous and like that feeling you have because it's been so long.
Instantaneous.
Yeah.
Because what happened is I got out there and I just went into kind of the persona that I do to start. Annie introduced me Lederman, and I go, "What a piece of ass." And they were so down with that. Yeah. In San Francisco, it would have been like, "Ooh," you know, but here it was like, And I just felt so encouraged.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this they're on my team.
Yeah. They all know that I'm joking up here.
Yeah.
Which is, it's so funny that now is almost a thing where you have to remember. It was like, oh, okay, this crowd understands that we're having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate it when people tighten up, and it's just like, you really think that I'm a murderer or something?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's insane.
Really think I'm letting my cats lick my nipples?
Yeah,
like, is that? Yeah. I
Talking about the multiverse up here.
I got to headline in Bakersfield tonight at the Well.
Tonight?
You were there.
Yeah, I got to do 60 minutes, and it was great. But it was also like, it'd been a while since I headlined like that.
Yeah.
You know, you do like spots around town, 15, 20s. I do 30s, right?
Yeah.
So then to do a full 60, you're kind of just
The
like,
last 20 is tough.
right? Because you're like, oh, shit. And then,
Last 20 is like, ooh, this muscle I haven't used a lot.
right? Yeah. And then, you know, you go up, you start doing it, you start having fun, you start talking to people, and then you look at the clock and you're like, oh, shit, it's been 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Yeah. And you're just like,
Because
oh,
you've
okay.
been having a good time and they've been having a good time. And that's all that fucking matters.
Yeah.
Unless you're a very ambitious comic, and I know I just have never been like this, but someone who's always like working on their set so they can have it, you know, by the end of the year. Like, I never did that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have that in the back of my mind, you know.
Yeah. I always go up with,
I just want to have a good time.
yeah, I want to have a good time. I always have at least a few things that I'm like working on, but then you have the full set, right?
But having a good time, by the way, is the best way to get new material.
Yeah, it really is, and to get them to come back because you want them to come back.
Yeah.
You also want to, you know what I mean? You want them to have a memorable time.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
There's a relaxed thing about, I don't know if you guys have ever played golf.
yeah,
But you know how when you're in the swing and you know it's going to be good, there's kind of a loss of anxiousness that I feel. And if I feel the anxiousness, I'm going to shank it or whatever. I love doing golf analogies. I'm a big golf analogy guy.
When you start talking about putting, my eyes kind of glaze over. Have you ever heard him talk about putting for an hour and a half? The 3-foot putt, the 6-foot putt.
How do you feel about 12-foot putt?
Oh, don't get me started, folks. I'll tell you what.
I used to play golf in high school.
You did?
Yeah. I never made the team. I was like always one away from making the team.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But that loose backswing feeling is what I think. When I feel that on stage, I feel like I'm getting something that's going to be valuable for a long time.
Yes.
You know, one way or another.
By the way, let me just talk to the audience for a second. You are listening to Apocalypse Soon. This is a pop-up podcast, if you will.
Yes.
Our guest is Frank Castillo, comedian here in the Comedy Store. It's a little bar for comics called The Video Room with Kevin Tinkin. We're not doing the traditional. I mean, you all know that the civilization is collapsing. That's what Apocalypse Soon is about. Yeah. Civilization is collapsing. Here in America, it's really sad what's going on. It's really sad. And what can you do, man? You can move to a different country.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you get nervous about the collapse, Frank, of civilization?
You know,
I mean, look, I have seen it. You know, I've seen what's going on. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm I grew up with a very traditional Mexican family, and I also grew up with like a grandfather who was like fucking super about Mexico. So like,
Oh, you have like a patriot.
yeah, so like as like a Mexican guy, it's like, oh yeah, shit's been collapsing for a long time. There's an occupying force here right now. No, I'm just my grandfather was one of those.
Oh, he was like,
oh yeah, he was like, this is all ours back in the day, blah blah kind of deal, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like I understand.
I
so
love
like,
it. That's what I would be like if I was Mexican.
So for his and her,
Yeah.
so growing up in his perspective, shit's been burning down. You know what I mean? We've lost the war. You know what I mean? So it's so funny.
That's true. My perspective is such a white perspective, you know?
Well, I mean, you're white.
No, I am not white. And I want to talk about this, okay? I am part walrus, part Italian. Imagine if we could be part animal, like if some of us haven't evolved, like, and I'm still, and the doctor's like, look, I'm sorry, but you're still largely a walrus.
you're 70% walrus. I mean, I feel at least 60% muskrat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel very
Muskrat.
very
Interesting
rodent-y.
choice.
Very
Oh,
rodent-y.
really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I don't feel.
Lumbering sometimes.
Yeah, I'm a lumberer right
I
now.
feel like there's like some
Sloth or
Yeah.
Sloth, yeah.
Like when I see a
hippo.
cow,
Hippo.
when I see a cow that's being hugged by that machine before they get murdered, there's part of me that feels like, man, that looks great. You know,
Just a hug in general,
yeah,
or
just like that hugging machine right before
All right.
you get murdered.
God, he always goes into animal abuse. But yeah, so I don't know.
what is it that specifically bums you out?
No, it's well, here in the United States, the violence. I
Yeah.
think the violence, just I don't know, man. I mean, look, doing comedy really is an incredible outlet.
Yeah.
It really is like such an outlet for the rage and frustration.
When you yell at the crowd, how much of that is real?
Man, it's all pretty real.
Yeah, because there's times where I'm like, oh, this feels
But
like a
it's-
joke. And then times where I'm like, oh, this is real.
Oh,
He
yeah.
feels this way.
Yeah. But when I feel like the crowd is with me, it's sort of like, they're in on the fucking joke.
Yeah.
Which is, I think I've just developed this ability to like, and this is why I hesitated when you said, what are you so bummed about? Because as comics, you develop the ability to just fucking like make things funny.
Yes.
And that's how you live your life. Is
Yeah.
like, because reality is very difficult and
absolutely,
scary. And as comics, that's kind of and everybody does it, but like it's a magic trick.
It really is. Yeah. I have something that's going through with my family right now.
Mm-hmm.
We lost someone in our family. And
I'm sorry.
yeah, it was on my birthday. So
Man.
the first thing I had said to my mom when she had called me was like, this is the worst birthday gift that person has ever given me. And like we laughed about it because it was like funny, but it was also like that's how I deal with
Yes,
like, you
me
know what I
too.
mean? Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
But it's like, I've been like that ever since I think I was a kid. I was just because like
When that first plane hit the Twin Towers in New York, I said, this is going to be a great vehicle for Nick Cage.
I love a World Trade Center movie reference. Because by the way, I had made a comment to someone about that 2 weeks ago. Because that movie full on, it was like I never believe in too soon, but that too soon. You know what I mean? Like that's too soon.
Yeah, it's a bunch of fucking profit-driven scum who want to make money off it.
Yeah.
So that's the shit. That's so funny. God, I'm very stoned. I hope I'm making sense, folks.
It is also feels pretty good to get Eddie this stoned.
Yeah.
It's
And I hope I didn't offend you when you were like, I have a pre-roll and stuff, and I was like, let me go get my stuff in my car.
Frank pulled out a duffel bag full of weed, basically. It was beautiful.
I'm going to
very nice.
Amsterdam this summer.
Oh my God, that's going to be a
perform.
lot of fun. The weed out there is good. California has better weed.
I never smoked out there.
It's fun, but from what I understand, they're going through a crazy mushroom renaissance.
A lot of people. Huh?
Yeah, so over there,
That's a
especially,
call from nature to our hearts, right?
Yes, so it's legal there now. And then you can
Mushrooms
go to,
are.
Yeah, you can go to like a cafe and they have like just different stuff. That you can
Dude,
buy, different.
you know,
it's
when
so
I go
cool.
to a new country, though, I'm always so stimulated.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to Amsterdam like 3 times performing, but then I get to see the city. I have a friend who books this stuff. And he takes me in his boat and took me around all the canals into the Amstel
That's
River.
so cool.
Wow.
It was so nice.
Have you been to Barcelona?
No.
I went there. I did some stand up, and that was such a
shit.
fucking cool spot.
I want to go to
So
Barcelona.
there, it's legal, but it's not. It's legal in the sense that it's like you can go to a bar and drink, but you can't leave with the alcohol. So it's like,
Okay.
but you couldn't take alcohol home either, right? So it's kind of stuff like that. So you'll
Yeah.
go to like a dispensary,
That's
you have
similar.
to smoke and do stuff there. But if you were to leave with anything, you have to
Yeah.
like run down the street and hope a cop doesn't catch you. And over there, it's just like a ticket, but it's like a $500
How
ticket.
is their weed over there?
Okay, but their hash is
Right?
phenomenal because that's
Okay,
where
that's what I should
because
get.
that's where it kind of like
Should I get some of their?
yes, that's where that kind of comes from. Is like they're like Spain is very well
What
known
color?
for their hash.
No, I'm talking about Amsterdam.
Oh, Amsterdam, yeah,
That's where I'm going to be.
so the weed's good. Their edibles are amazing.
Are they?
Are you a big edible guy?
Not really, but
okay.
You like a gummy?
look, I like a gummy on a plane.
That's a great.
Get
salmon.
these gummies off my plane. Gummy on a plane.
Every time you eat it, you just get higher.
Is that a gummy? Imagine when you're on United Flight 587.
Samuel L. Jackson's just screaming at you? You're like,
God damn it! God damn it! That's my gummy. And you're like, hi. It's Punky. It's Punky. Come on in.
right.
Come on in.
All
Yes.
right.
What's going on in here?
We anticipated this might happen.
We as we told you, we're in the video room of the comedy. We're just doing a podcast. We're doing a very low stakes podcast.
Very low.
Very low stakes. Very low. Mwah.
Hesitancy of
Mwah.
back in here, did you? No, I can't.
There's no business like show. Mwah, mwah. All right, so that was a loving moment that we had.
That was very nice. It's good to be blown kisses.
It
It
is.
felt nice.
I'll tell you, when life was simpler, when America wasn't owned by 20 families, which is what the problem is. You know, the money is concentrated now.
trying to explain that to like Republican people in my family that aren't like think that they're rich,
but they're very
not.
short-sighted.
Yeah.
They're short-sighted.
I love that person who thinks they're very rich, but they're actually not.
Like my wife's family, they all come from money. Right?
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, like but they're like
Mexico?
no. She's like Irish and white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like her grandfather used to be a judge, and he's got like crazy property and stuff.
Where?
And Escondido on the
Okay,
mountaintop.
in California, yeah.
Yeah. And then like her dad's got spots too. And then but like my step family, like they got like a house in Tahoe and a spot in San Jose, but it's like that stuff's way nicer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they also feel a certain way because they own a thing, and it's like, well, you're not you're a part of the party, but you're not like you're not getting invited. You know what I mean?
I used to think that we were rich when I was young because we had a 2-bedroom cabin.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, oh, we're like the 1%, you
Yeah.
know? And then going to my buddy's cabin, which was basically like a modern day piece of art. And it was like a $7 million. I was like, okay, we're not. We have
Where?
no money.
Yeah, we have a
We
shack.
have no money.
Shaver Lake.
On that day, the little Tinkin boy realized how the cards were stacked against. Father, I thought we had things.
Do you remember meeting your first like rich person or like wealthy person?
Yeah. The Dardis.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was definitely it. But it was like it just kept getting deeper because I went to their house because he was an architect.
Deeper.
Like,
I'm in too deep in this family now.
you go to someone's house, you're like, wow, this is a gorgeous house. And then you go and you see, they all have Mercedes. Like these guys are well-to-do.
Right.
But then you go to the cabin, and then somebody goes, which cabin at some point? And then you find out the cabin is like $7 million. It literally like is white discs stacked. It looks fucking like insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like.
I had a friend in high school. His dad was an Olympic coach, and then I can't remember what his mom did, but he lived with his grandparents, and we were good friends. We hung out and stuff, and then we went to his place for something, and as we're going, we're like driving deeper and deeper into wine country, and I'm like, "Where the fuck do you live?" And he goes, "I live in this gated community. Have you heard of it?" And he said it, and I had just moved to the town, so I didn't know anything about it. And then as we drive through a huge gate, and it was like a cul-de-sac of other huge gates. And then once we drove up to his his grandparents' spot, it was huge. And he was like, "This is usually the point where people stop hanging out with me.
Yeah.
They find out I'm like a rich person." And I was
own
just
a
like,
mountain?
He was like, "I'm not rich. My grandparents are rich." And I was just like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
So then we ended up still becoming great friends. And he's a great dude, but it was just like, it was it was like, "Oh, I get why you would hate this."
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went to a work function for this company that I have no idea if it was legit or not, because it was just like one of those, pyramid type marketing. But one of the big early meetings was at a house that was on a hill in Napa, and they own the entire mountain, the entire side of the mountain, everything. They had enough quads for like everyone to, and then I remember at one point they're like, "We're gonna go out and do cocaine in the field. Do you want to come?" And I was like, my wife was there. I was just like, "Nah, I think we're good. I think we're good over here."
Cocaine in the field.
Yeah.
That
On an
sounds
ATV.
like
Yeah.
that sounds like a fucked up program for kids. Get your child into nature on cocaine.
Have you ever heard of those like not rehab, but those like teen programs that do that, where they do like walkabouts, where they make
No,
kids?
that sounds like a good idea, though.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Tell me about it. Tell me
Oh
about
man,
it.
so they'll make like kids walk miles in the desert, and they'll be like, "You have to stand on this rock. You can't leave. Here's water. We'll come back in a day or two." And
No way.
I swear to God.
Oh well, that's not what I was thinking.
Yeah. And then they come back in like a day or two, but there's usually like someone around that's like keeping an eye on them. But they just leave them there, and they're just like in nature by themselves for like 48 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah, and they're just like, "Do you still want to be a menace?" And then they're just like, "No, this is terrifying."
I do think we should have more rite of passage type stuff.
Oh yeah,
For people, like
Yeah.
something like that.
Mine
not
was to
that.
try to squeeze between two cars once.
Yeah. Eddie was a bike messenger in New York City. I don't know if you knew.
really?
Dude, yeah. Did I talk about that on the pod?
A little bit. Yeah, I mean.
Have you ever seen
not
any
at
like
that
crazy
time.
crashes?
Yeah, I was in a
Holy
couple.
Shit.
I was in a couple where the biggest one, I was a bike messenger in Manhattan, is that a parked car would throw their door open.
Yeah.
There's nowhere you can go if the timing is right.
Coming through with some
bam!
legs.
I fucking hit a couple of doors. Bam! And I was so lucky I wasn't really injured, because on one of them I went flying into traffic. That could have been it for
Dude,
me.
and there's videos of people like getting
Oh, I don't-
absolutely exploded by
Oh, yeah.
cars.
Oh, yeah.
That could have been me.
Absolutely.
But I'm still here. I'm still here. That's why the ladies go to lunch. That's why the ladies go to lunch. Da-da-da. Hi, I'm Elaine Stritch. This is Betty Franklin. And this is, now who's another chanteuse? Oh, Ella Fitzgerald. You'll be Ella. Ella, I'm Elaine Stritch, and you're what the fuck is her name? Lena Horne.
You know who Paul Inca is?
Paul Anka, yeah.
Yeah. So
He's a little guy.
yeah. He wrote like all the
lot of
like
hits.
a lot of hits, right? And I worked at Petraga Resort and Casino, and we got free tickets. Me and my wife, girlfriend at the time,
How was it?
and we went. Dude, it was one of the best concerts I've
Really?
ever fucking seen.
I bet.
He was playing so many songs. I was like, I know every single one of these goddamn songs.
Yeah. You don't know that you know them.
Yeah, he's
don't know
Mac
that's
the
all
Knife.
him.
Mac
Dude,
the
it was
Knife.
crazy.
Yeah.
And it
When
was
the shark bites down by the river. Ha! Ha!
yeah, he was killing it. And it was so funny because it was like watching stand-up because he would do like bits in between the songs.
Yes.
And then he'd be like, this is my backup trumpist. I got his wife pregnant. All right, on to the next bit. And you're just like, holy
so
shit.
old school.
Where you're like, oh my God, this
So
is,
old
yeah.
school.
And what was hilarious is we were watching it. There was like 70-year-old, 80-year-old women just losing their fucking minds at Paul.
Never ends. It
There
never
were-
ends.
I saw a woman throw a bra up on stage. I'm like, these are people's grandparents. This is crazy.
Like your show today.
Wow. I'm just thinking what, 70, 80-year-old woman could throw up there. Here's my,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Preparation age.
Yeah, shit like that. Something like, here's my.
Huge underwear.
Yeah.
That would be funny. Like, instead of real sexy underwear, it's like they're throwing up like a special.
Her younger granddaughter's wheeling the wheelchair. You know what I mean?
I'll take the kid.
Yeah.
Welcome to I'll Take the Kid, a game show at the end of civilization. That'd be a good segment. So what's up with you, Kev?
Oh, you know me, just.
You know me. Are you okay, or did you get pretty high, or what's the
I
deal?
think I got pretty high. I think that definitely happened, and that happens
seem-
around
yeah, you
Frank too. I
didn't know Frank was a maven of marijuana.
yeah.
I'm like, I got a couple of pre-rolled joints. He's like, he laughed and brought this stuff back. A pipe from fucking Harry Potter.
yeah.
I liked a lot.
My Puffco, yeah.
Yeah, no, I had a whole movie happen in my head right now, and I was lost for a second.
I saw that.
I was like, shit, what's happening?
That's why I called you out. I
thank
called
you.
you back.
I
I called them back to reality, you scum. All of you listening are scum.
He remembered he was on a podcast. That was great.
Yeah. Just all of a sudden.
Well, we've smoked before, too, here.
Oh, yeah.
Right here,
We
huh?
smoke together a lot.
Yeah. I've gotten you unbelievably high multiple times.
And I love saying yes. You know what I mean? I'm a yes guy.
I love saying yes in truck stops. I love saying yes behind 7-Elevens. I'm a blow job man. I'm a blow job man.
Oh, my God.
There's something really funny about committing to that, about like a guy in a masculine way singing about being a blowjob man. I'll suck you off behind your doctor's office. I'll suck you off in a creek.
all on this one disc.
I'll suck you off in the Social Security Administration lobby. I'll suck you off in Ralph's.
It's a lot of dick sucking.
Anyway,
You gotta advertise.
so your wife's a psychologist.
He doesn't forget, folks. He doesn't forget.
All right, there's actually one story I think I could tell that she told me from work. I got to be like very general and non-specific.
Right.
But
Don't break any
Oh, yeah.
confidentiality.
But she was talking to someone about drugs, right? And he was talking about how much they loved crack and how awesome crack was and why they did crack and like the appeal of it, right?
Yeah.
So he's talking about it, and just then someone walks past the door, and they overhear the conversation, and they pop their head in. They're like, "Are you guys all talking about crack cocaine?" Just extremely high, excited, and stoked about it, and she said she took everything in her not to die laughing.
Oh yeah, dude. Sometimes you open up a little bit and you find out where your allies are. You know what I mean?
She's a trooper now. She said she can handle throw up, spit, and poop, but she can't handle blood.
Oh, I get
Yeah,
that.
she still faints when she sees it.
I get that.
Yeah. She cut her finger once cooking dinner, and I had to catch her, and I almost didn't make it. It was like she was just like and I was like, oh my god, and I'd never seen it happen.
Welcome back to Trouble in the Kitchen. My wife was cooking the other day, cut her finger, and collapsed. Luckily, I was there to catch her. And now another song by Oasis.
But that always worries me because I know it's like if anything ever happens like bad and I'm like bleeding, she's gonna be useless.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad used to have a fear of blood like that, and any type of trauma. When I broke my arm, we took me to the hospital, and the doctor was setting my arm while my dad was there, and my dad passed out.
That's hilarious.
And apparently he passed out when I was born, too.
Oh my god! Did you pass out?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't pass out of fear. Because I know once I go out, that'll be it. I don't sleep.
I've been awake my whole existence.
Yeah, I feel that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am a CIA experiment. I'm not real. I'm a non-sleeper. I like hash, long walks in the park, and robotic weaponized dogs.
Dude, that bit about the...
That was pretty funny, right?
I go off leash. I keep him off leash.
By the way, for our Patreon
Yes.
subscribers, we taped a set tonight, my set from the main room. So we'll be putting that for Patreon only. So if become Patreon member, it's $5 or $20.
5 or 20.
I even addressed the Patreon members in this set. It was pretty funny. I was insulting my own Patreon members to the crowd.
Nice.
I say, we're taping this for my Patreon members because I hate them.
People love that. People
Yeah,
love
I know.
mentioning Patreon.
I know,
Yeah.
that's true.
Oh, the crowd?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
interesting.
they're really hip to it. You
It's like
know?
I'm filming this for my Patreon. People started like,
Like we love it. Yeah.
cool.
You
yeah.
know, stand-up, I wonder if stand-up is the most popular form of theater right now.
I think it is.
I think it is, too.
But I've noticed too. I think 2 or 3 years ago, even just working the store, people will come and watch the full process of it. So I've seen people watch people just starting like new material or something, and then come back as the comics built it up.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, I wanted to be there the whole journey."
Oh, I see.
And then when it comes out on Netflix, they're like, "I've seen the whole thing
Yeah,
already."
yeah.
But
Oh,
like,
that's cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I watched we watched Rock do that. Chris Rock do
Yeah.
that here. It was very interesting. It's so cool to see somebody working something out and then watch it happen like on something big, like Saturday Night Live or something. It's good. It's
That's where
reassuring.
me and you differ. When I see a guy like Rock working something out, I'm like, next.
No thanks.
Hard pass.
There's nothing funnier than the hard pass.
Right? Right?
Not just a pass, hard pass.
By the way, and the first time I saw it, it was done by the master, Hannibal Buress. Yeah. He just posted like some fan saying something absurd to him and inviting him to some weird thing, and all he wrote was hard pass. It was such a cut. But you're right, everybody does it now.
Yeah. It's not even that I don't want to do it. I want you to know that I really don't want to do it.
Right. There
Not
you go.
interested. Let me be vocal about my non-interest.
Yeah. So Frank, you're one of the guys who's really good at one-liners.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but you're good, but it's like woven into stories.
Yeah.
And did you always? Who were your influences that made you go in like this punchline direction?
So a lot of it was starting and doing roast battle. So doing roast battle kind of
okay.
taught me the whole setup. Punch
Wow,
thing.
a whole generation of comedians have been informed by roast battle.
Well, yeah, that taught me how to like write jokes. But
Yeah.
I think style, like I loved Louis C.K. ever since All Chewed Up, and then I loved Dave. I loved all those guys. But I think like once I realized you can go to clubs and really do it, I started watching like Moses and all like the people I started to come up with, and the people that were like a class above me. So I got to see all them start to do it, and as they leveled up, I was like, oh, I kind of figured myself out. But I just I think stories are a little easier just because it's a part of me. It's real. It's true, and it's like something a little more relatable. And then that way I can also jump into the one-liner stuff or just the jokes that I've written that are just like jokes.
Yeah.
And it's easier to go back and forth because one, I've established that they like me as a person because of the ridiculous antics my family members get into. And then I can talk about, Mexican school shooters and just dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
And then they still laugh because they know I'm joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found doing the stupidest joke possible right off the bat is a good way to go.
Yeah.
Because you're going, hey, don't take me seriously, all right?
Yeah.
I might say something weird,
Yeah.
I'm joking around,
Yeah.
I like it.
And I'm also at this weird point where
Having these moments.
I'm fine with them not laughing at things. Like after I think it was watched the video of Patrice, he even said he was like, no one should be 100% laughing ever. Like it should be half people that are horrified, half people that love you.
Yeah.
And once I started thinking of that way, I was
Patrice said that?
yeah. Once I started,
Did you know Patrice?
No, I would watch a lot of his albums or listen to a lot of his albums and watch
Patrice.
it. I wish I met him. I wish.
Yeah.
I mean, way before my time, but once I heard that, I was like, oh, that's a great way to approach comedy.
Yeah. All those Opie and Anthony appearances are available out there.
So
which is,
good.
thank God, of Patrice.
Yeah.
Oh, were they good?
Yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah.
Well, his angle
They're
too.
wild.
Yeah, his angle too is always like the craziest angle, but his justifications are always ridiculously funny.
Yeah.
And I always try to approach things like that, where it's like if everyone knows that I'm just kidding, I don't want to make the same joke everyone else is making. I want to make the opposite opinion, but I want to make it as ridiculous as possible for my justification.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we like to do, man.
Yeah. I also like dropping the bottom out of everything.
Yes.
I really like love
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah. To get people to go, like that.
Well,
like,
but that's
my
what I
favorite.
think comics, though, do for people is like completely make the good comedy completely makes people look at things differently. Like, oh, shit, yeah. Or like, holy fuck, or they see themselves in the comics life as well, and they feel free that they are also like that.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines that I have right now is I talk about school shootings, and I say, what did I say? I was like, it costs a lot of money to kill a lot of people very quickly. Some would say it's a privilege. It's like a white privilege joke because all the school shooters have like really like insane kind of guns, all the assault rifles and stuff, all the body armor, and so that's the whole angle. But like, just when I say that, people are just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
and I can feel it, and I love that. I love it.
Yeah. I have a joke where I start off and one half of the room likes it and the other one doesn't, and then to flip them, which is the best. It's fucking great. And
What I do to divide the room is just go, okay, men now. And the horsey is going, nay, nay, nay. And ladies, I want you to say this. When the froggy goes, hop, hop, hop. Ladies? There's nobody in the club. He's alone. Frank, we're just testing the sound system. How is it?
Just the lights turning on.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. By the way, you're listening and watching, or both, Apocalypse Soon. Our special guest, Frank Castillo, and I'm here with my sidekick, Kevin Tinkin. How much time have we done, Kev?
folks, let me tell you, we're coming up on 39 minutes.
Holy shit.
I think
That's good.
it would be nice if you were able to, not only for our audience, but for us here, for you to do a little bit of guided meditation.
All right, we're going to do it. Now you could just relax, Frank, and listen to my voice. I'm going to do a guided meditation, everybody. I hope everybody out there is in loose-fitting clothing. I know we are. Before the podcast, I always fit my guests with cottony, chiffony. By the way, Chiffony was a terrific singer until the car accident. She really needed to stop doing so much cocaine. And by the way, with your first in-breath, I want you to think of all the singers who've died of addiction. With your first in-breath, just think of all the incredible talent that has died because they were addicted to pleasure. They were addicted to wanting to feel like they were at home. And yet it led to just horrible, horrible confrontation with Satan or whatever you want to call it. I certainly don't want to get into a semantic debate about evil, except I know evil is real, and I know evil is here, and I want you to breathe that in on your first in-breath. And now know. And by the way, when you breathe that in, call a friend as well. And by the way, all these guided meditations should be done with you folks having a friend on a phone with you, because these are not easy guided meditations. Now with your first out breath, I want you to breathe out all the problems that you encounter on a daily basis. The fact that your toes are starting to split from each other. You know what I'm talking about? My toes now look like corned beef. Okay? And I want you to breathe all of that out, like how your body just completely falls a fucking part. We have about 15, 20 years for a nice body, 30 years maybe. In my case, it was 10.
Imagine a fully ripped Eddie Pepitone. Like just Vin Diesel level, like rock, just action star Eddie Pepitone.
What do you mean? You better give me the gun. Eddie Pepitone is the henchman. Excuse me. I'm here for the gun.
You guys here for the gun?
I'm Uber Guns. What about that? Instead of Uber Eats, they deliver guns to people in America because there's so many guns.
Guided meditation.
Are you a gun guy?
I
think most people have them now.
I'm not, because my wife isn't, but I've gone to Austin and I have shot guns, and it is the most satisfying thing. I've ever
really?
felt. Yeah.
Ooh,
I also
haven't-
shot explosive. What are they called? Explosive decoys or whatever, or like explosive
really?
targets. Explosive targets. And trust me, there's something very satisfying when you shoot.
You talking about
one.
clay pigeons?
No, it's like you mix a powder in like a jar, and then you put it, and then when you shoot it, it explodes. It's so satisfying.
Yeah.
Whoa,
that's great.
Whoa. Where
Yeah,
is?
we always used to my uncle had a yard full of basically abandoned vehicles ish, and we go out there and shoot the windows at us. It was
So
the best time of my life. Yeah. Absolutely best time of my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to Tales of Destruction. People who live for exploding sounds, things completely being destroyed.
You want to hear a terrible video that I saw? Mm-hmm. It was a guy demonstrating and hunting with a 50 cal rifle. Do you know what those are?
Yeah.
I don't, but I'm more ready. It sounds
It's huge.
It's a rifle they use to shoot tanks.
Yeah.
So it's got anti-armor rounds. They're like, the bullets are this big.
Right.
So he went and took it hunting. And he sees a deer, and he's like, all right, we're going to shoot it. So he shoots it, and it immediately falls to the ground, right?
Yeah.
And he shows the body, and he was like, I thought there'd be more damage. And it come to find out he missed, but the bullet was going so fast and the vacuum was so crazy that it just sucked the deer's eyes out, and it died instantly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smoke.
that's horrific.
Absolutely horrific.
That's how I want to go. Wow. I never thought about it until right now, but that's actually, I think that's the...
A near miss by a 50 cal?
Yeah. That's it.
Honey, I'm going to go near the 50 cal neighbor. Why, sweetheart? You don't want to end your life, do you? I just want my eyes sucked out and die peacefully.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because he was explaining it, and he goes, if you think about it, it's a pretty humane way to take out a deer. And I was just like, oh my God.
He keeps it mounted with the googly eyes. There she is. I killed her that moment.
Now, who is this?
Some guy that lives in Austin that tests weapons. He's just like a hunter guy.
horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Fucking horrible. Yeah. So your wife, Frank's wife, is a psychologist. What does your wife do?
My wife is a teacher's teacher.
What does that mean?
She teaches teachers. So she works for Central Unified or LAUSD.
Teachers.
Teaching teachers.
Teaching teachers are the luckiest teachers in the world. Students who have teachers who teach teachers.
Beautiful. Oh.
No, but what does that mean, though?
So if there's like a new, if there's a program that's supposed to be rolling out or a something that the teachers are supposed to be teaching the students. She helps with that.
Oh,
that
okay.
process. And so yeah, she's great. She loves it. She wore a dress today, and I got very suspicious. I said, "What's with this dress? What's going on? Where you go with that dress?"
baby. Kevin is just in a wife beater T-shirt.
Oh yeah.
Spaghetti on it.
And he always writes me. He's got a hero. He's got a submarine sandwich the size of a going. Hey, baby, how come you dressed up?
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah. Who's that for? Who's that? Oh, she loves it. She loves it. Nah, she gave me.
I'm gonna be home watching The View. Wow, that's a fucked up character.
That is a fucked up character.
The guy just eating, and he's a brute.
It's just a piece of shit staying at home.
I never finished a guided meditation.
No, you didn't.
That's a regular bit that we do.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Let's do driving in the rain, though.
Yeah, and then we can go ahead and wrap her up.
All right. Ready, everybody? Go ahead. You intro it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Driving in the Rain with Eddie Pepitone.
The rain was like a nightclub that had been condemned but reopened secretly. Still shitty, poor, and it was raining here in LA, and I got into my Uber / Lyft / DoorDash / Instacart / Uber Eats / Riss / Bookmobile / Therapy on Wheels / Blood Testing Mobile. And I started driving, and the rain seemed like God was crying. He was crying, not that he created such a fragile the smog in LA was really getting to me. I couldn't even finish my sentences about God's despair over his creation because of the smog. I saw her at the corner getting doused by the rain. It was like she was a civil rights protester in the 60s in Alabama getting hosed. Except it wasn't the police, it was God hosing her from the sky. And she wasn't marching for civil rights. She was just standing there on the corner where Disney Concert Hall was. And I was delivering her a breakfast burrito. I pulled up, I said, "This your breakfast burrito, madam?" And she said, "You bet it is, Tiger. May I get in the car and eat it there?" I was a little taken aback, but she got in the car. I unbuttoned one of my buttons to show some chest hair. And then I put on the sexy lights in my car, and I played some nice, slow saxophone music by Bird or Diz, Thelonious, or even Don Lemon, the CNN anchor. The rain was like a Sudanese warlord. It was cutting up everybody with its machete of water, just ripping through. My car was barely... The woman in the back seat was eating her breakfast burrito, looking at me with hungry eyes. Luckily, I was on a fast because I had an MRI of my prostate coming up, and I couldn't eat for the night before the procedure. She didn't know that. She offered me some of her breakfast burrito, and I was like, "No, I have an MRI for a prostate cancer scan." And she said, "Nice buzzkill." I said, sorry, babe, but life intrudes. My prostate is the size of Connecticut, and I want to get it down to Rhode Island. I want to live, baby. I don't want to die at the hand of what killed Zappa and what killed others. And she immediately finished her breakfast burrito and jumped out of the car and said, I got to pick a guy up at Cedars-Sinai right now myself. He just had an endoscopy. It looks like he's going to make it. I was like, you want to ride to Cedars, babe? And she said, nah.
Thanks for joining us on another Driving in the Rain with Eddie Pepitone.
Ooh, that felt good. You like driving in the rain?
I do. I like smoking weed and driving in the rain.
You what?
I like smoking weed.
Yeah,
and
that's
driving in the
cool.
Yeah, we should make a weed-friendly playlist on the website, on the YouTube.
Oh, well, I think any music when you're on weed.
Yeah.
Just about.
Just a playlist.
Right? Yeah, just a playlist. But, Frank, thank you for coming on in our
pleasure,
impromptu pop-up pod.
This was a lot
Thank
of
you
fun.
for providing incredible marijuana.
Too good, some might say.
I'm going to be driving back to Laurel Canyon going, I'm on a gummy!
Yeah, I'm going to go home and drink some iced tea and get ready to go to bed.
Hell yeah. You got anything you want to plug?
Oh,
Catch me. I have a podcast called Peaked, Peak apostrophe D. And then I have a podcast called Masonic Smoker Podcast. Check them out. They're both on YouTube. We just talk weed. And the other one is literally farming. It's so nerdy.
Wow.
Nice.
Farming.
Yeah, because the guys that I talk,
Farming weed?
yeah, they all grow weed from seeds and stuff.
Right.
So like we talk genetics and
Right.
it's not a lot of
I,
scientist shit.
I ran a podcast for a while, potato farming, but it was based on the famine in Ireland. Anyway, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so
Tinkin, what do you want to promote?
Subscribe to the YouTube channel, folks. Go there right now. We'd appreciate it. If you want to be a Patreon member, we will get you this video the day that this podcast comes out. If not, we'll get it to you a week later. But go there and check it out.
Thank you, everybody. You've just watched or listened to Apocalypse Soon, the podcast with no upside. I'm Eddie Pepitone. Go to eddiepepitone.com. I'm going to be touring all over starting mid-June. And me and Kevin are actually going to be in Bakersfield and Fresno the next night.
The Well's amazing. It's
It
amazing.
is.
Club.
That's right. You just did it. All right, guys. Ciao.